Hello, Dan Cummings for Rollt.Magazin here with James MacSorley. You're signing for Bilbao. First of all, James, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks, mate. I've been really looking forward to this interview. So, James, my first question I've got for you is why did you decide to move to Bilbao?
So after 2 really good years in Gran Canaria, they decided they weren't having me back, so needed a new team. And obviously, Bilbao have been a very successful team for a while now, and they got in touch. And I kind of spoke to a couple of the players who are here or who have been here. I spoke to the president about sort of how they like to run things and sort of how things would look if I was there. And yeah, man, I was really interested in sort of coming here and seeing what we could achieve. And obviously, I think everyone who's played in Bilbao knows their fans are great. And as I say, they've been a fairly successful team over the last couple of years. And yeah, I was just excited to get on board. Obviously, part of it's just like I was just looking for a team, but like I was absolutely buzzing when they got in touch because I didn't think a team of this sort of caliber would have been on the phone. But yeah, man, happy to be here.
Yeah, that's great, mate. And like you say, Bilbao, they're a very successful team. Um, what have been sort of the biggest takeaways from training? Like, what's the team chemistry been like so far? Obviously, you've played your first league game this past weekend. So yeah, what's the team chemistry been like? Is there anyone on the team that you're specifically excited to work with?
It's been good, man. Like as you say, we've had our first league game and we had a preseason game the week before that. We're only kind of still coming together. So I'm new. Alberto Steche is here. Mariana is here, and yeah, man, we have a couple of new guys, and then obviously I think everyone knows the same guys who are in Bilbao who have always been here. So it's been fun for us to try and kind of get involved and incorporate ourselves with how this team likes to play. I think everyone knows obviously what Bilbao do at this stage, but like also trying to each contribute what we know we're good at. We can all kind of bring things to hopefully help this team be thereabouts at the end of the season. So it's been fun. My big takeaway is just these guys play hard all the time. Like it was something that I knew from playing against them and something that I'd heard sort of anecdotally that in training they just kind of go after each other every night. And that's certainly been the case, which has been fun to be a part of. I think it'll be good for me as well.
That's great, mate. And like you say, it'll be fun to see how you fit into the Bilbao's, sort of standard style of play, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, going forward, you've been settled in Bilbao for a few weeks now. What has been sort of your first impressions of the city?
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. It's not as big as I thought it would be, which is really handy because everything's kind of within reach and it's super well connected with the public transport. It's sort of it's easy to get wherever you want to. Everyone's been really cool on the team and just in general, everyone's super nice here. And we kind of felt myself and my wife both felt fairly settled in pretty quickly. And yeah, it's been cool, man. Lovely place, lots to do when we're not playing, and a good place to play basketball as well. So yeah, loving it here, man.
Yeah. Have you found any favorite spots to go to when you're not training?
I'm not quite there yet. I'm still kind of taking the survey of the best coffees in Bilbao. I'll probably get back to you by Christmas, but found a couple of spots so far. If anyone who's been here is listening, has any recommendations, get in touch. But our first weekend here, we kind of walked around the city centre and just kind of ate and drank our way around the city and spent a day in the Guggenheim and stuff. And that was really fun. I think it's kind of cool wherever you're going to try and take in a bit of the culture straight away. And it's been fun, man. But now I'm open to any recommendations from anyone who's been here before.
That's good. You'll need to let us know what the best coffee shop is when you find out.
Will do. I've got some candidates so far. I've been making my way around, but a couple still to go to before the verdict's out.
That's great, mate. That's great. So my next question for you, it's a bit long-winded, so I'll need to look down at my phone to remember the length of the question. So, so this is your third consecutive year in Spain's Division of Honor. It's arguably the best league in the world. Obviously, when you went to Gran Canaria, when you started there 2 years ago, you had to adjust to not only a new team but also the pace of the league. And obviously, now that you've moved to Bilbao, obviously you still have to make some adjustments moving to a new team. But I think you're fairly set. You know what the pace of the league's like, and playing week in, week out, and traveling long hours and stuff like that. So with that being said, how has playing at the highest level week in, week out helped you grow as a player over the last few years?
Oh, that's a good question. I think one thing it certainly brings is resilience. Like, if you can't do this week in, week out, you won't survive. Like, I think that's the one thing, like, I'd kind of not forgotten, but we played our league game last Saturday. We came back to training on Monday, and I was like, oh yeah, we have a game on Saturday. Like, you just kind of, you get on a bus for however many hours every second week until Christmas. It's a bit different this year, obviously, but no, I think it's been good for me because I've kind of gone and played with different people who see basketball different ways and played in different styles and different setups and with different coaches. And I think that sort of just broadening my horizons in terms of how different people see the game of basketball has been really good for me. And I think obviously, as I say, I think being here will be good for me because these guys just play hard all the time. That's not to say that my previous stops hasn't been the case, but these guys like to beat people up, and I think that'll be fun to be a part of. But I think that's the thing, just you kind of naturally develop from being around high level talent, either on your own team or playing against them every Saturday. So you don't really, like, you have to grow, like you have to get better, you have to kind of improve, and it is all very performance based. Like, you figure out what you didn't do well on Saturday or what the other team will do well next Saturday, and you kind of point yourself towards that and you go in that direction all week, rather than just, I'd say, if you don't have high level games all the time, like in the league back home or whatever, there's a thing if you come to train maybe, but yeah, it's that direction that having a really high level game every Saturday gives you, kind of helps you improve.
Yeah, definitely. Like, every training session, you've got to think forward to the weekend and think, right, we've got the like, if you're going up against, if Bilbao are going up against Albacete or Union, you've got to go into training thinking, right, that's the task at hand. We need to be, at going at 100%. Whereas if, like, say, back home in the British League, if you're playing like a lower league team, you don't necessarily need to have that intensity. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's the thing. Just nearly every weekend, every weekend you're playing a team full of competent basketball players at a high level. Like, you're playing the best league in the world, as you said. So it's, yeah, you kind of just, you're shot out of a cannon from one game to the next. Like, you finish one game, you have a Sunday off to chill out and spend time with your loved ones, and then you're back to it and you're thinking about Saturday again, which is really, really cool. And it kind of helps you keep moving forwards. But I think that's the big thing. You're kind of always working towards what will help you win basketball games.
Yeah, and you've got that consistency, like you say, every weekend. Whereas in some other leagues, I know in some leagues they don't have a game every weekend. It's sometimes every 2 or 3 weeks. So
yeah,
having that consistency week in, week out is another great thing. That leads me on to my next question. How do you think the styles of play will differ between Bilbao and your previous team, Gran Canaria?
Well, as I said, obviously anyone who's seen Bilbao play the last couple of years, it was a little bit different last year, but certainly this year, like, it's a very physical team. We try and get inside a lot. We play big, and everyone kind of plays hard all the time, which is fun. It's a very physical style of basketball. Gran Canaria had a little bit of a more finesse style. Gran Canaria moved the ball the last couple of years probably better than anyone in the league. And obviously Bilbao have been run by Asier Garcia as the sort of number one guy for the last God knows how many years. So it's a bit more of a ball dominant player than we might have had in Gran Canaria the last couple of years. Although in saying that, everything there started and ended with Jorge with the ball in his hands. But after that, the ball got moving a little bit. But I don't know. I'm excited to sort of see how we develop, and because I'm still not 100% sure what we're going to be this year, because we've only been around for 3 weeks. Like as I say, we've played we've played one preseason game and then the first game of the season. So like I'm not 100% where we're going to be in 3 months. So I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, that's understandable. Like I say, it'll take a time for the team to really develop an identity, I think, going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. That leads me to my final question for you is how do you aim to bring success to Bilbao, or further success, I should say?
Show up to work every day, try and get better. And yeah, I think the plan with these guys is always show up, work hard, try and get something out of every training session, and take each game as it comes. I don't think I'm in a position to sit here and say in April we'll be in this position, or I think the plan is show up, try and get better every day, try and win every Saturday. Hopefully we'll be sort of in that mix come the end of the season, and then who knows what will happen. I think we'll be thereabouts. And obviously the same for European competitions and stuff. I think that's the plan. Try and be like I saw we did a team presentation, like press release to mark the start of the season last week, and the quote was like to be like between the best, like in the mix with the best teams, among the best teams. So I think that's the plan. Be thereabouts, and then see what happens. Scrap for position.
Yeah, definitely. Let's just take it on a game by game situation, and hopefully, like you say, end up within that top half of the league. That's great, James. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you'd like to
add? No, just wanted to say thank you very much for having me.
No worries, mate. And I thought you were going to do some self-promotion there, but
I literally, I was going to say, I can't believe I got through all of this without promoting the Bench Units podcast. Yeah. And no one listening to this wants to hear any more of me, but if you do, I'm over there.
Yeah, well, I'd just say check out the Bench Units podcast with James and Mark Schofield. It's a great podcast. If you're properly into your wheelchair basketball, you just hear two guys who loves wheelchair basketball just talk about it on a weekly basis. So with that being said, James, once again, thank you very much, and I hope to see you again soon, mate.
Cool. Cheers, Dylan. Thanks for having me. Take it easy.